Well, he tried to shake it off, but day 2 of the election campaign, so the focus remained on Anthony Albanese and his economic credentials. Meanwhile, unofficial political party Climate 200 has a growing list of candidates hell-bent on knocking off Liberals in seats like Wentworth, Goldstein and Kooyong. Joining me now to pick apart the latest in the campaign is Herald Sun National Weekend political editor James Campbell. James, we've only been in 2 days of this, but tell me, what is your analysis of the campaign thus far?
Well, I think Liberals, operatives, Liberal MPs, Liberal ministers, the people around the Prime Minister are pinching themselves. They can't quite believe that this is going the way it's going, that they expected that over 6 weeks you might see Anthony Albanese unravel under the pressure of the media pack and his lack of confidence in the detail of things, but they didn't expect him to blow up on day one. It's a bit like, they were still getting the picnic out of the back of the car, they were walking towards the MCG and they suddenly heard there were 3 wickets before they could get in the gates. Yesterday was an absolute disaster. It's the first time a lot of people will have focused on him, and it just shows that the work hadn't been done. It's both on one level trivial that he couldn't remember it and unimportant, but on the other hand, it's very, very important because it shows he doesn't really think about these things. If he was concentrating on this stuff all the time, it would just be second nature to him. He would just know it. Now, we all get things wrong. I'm sure you do. I do. The problem is that he got this wrong. He was ignorant. He was wrong. He was out of his depth in the area that the government is targeting him on. And they've known that for some time. They're running consistent lines on him saying, this guy doesn't know anything about economics, you can't trust him, he's never had a spending portfolio, he's never been anywhere near the till. And he goes and confirms that argument on day one.
And Labor's line now that Albo, we all make mistakes, and Albo owned up to his mistake. He should be praised as a stand-up bloke for owning up to it. He had no choice, James. He was caught out. What else can he do other than put up his hand and say, I didn't know?
That's right. And the worst thing now is he's going to be, his entire election campaign is going to be some sort of rolling oral sort of Viva exam where he's being asked questions about various aspects of the Australian government. Library locks and it's, every day they're going to be looking for nooks and corners that he doesn't know about. I don't see, I think every election has a defining moment. Whether it's the Lathan handshake, this could be it, and it could happen on day one. It's no exaggeration to say that this election could have been decided yesterday.
Ooh. Well, that is a big statement, but people are saying that. Well, we've got a long way to go. We've got 39 days to go. Anything could happen. Now, I want to ask you about these Climate 200 fake independents.
Oh, yeah?
Go on.
So I was just going to say, you had this sense yesterday that the government, the Prime Minister might have been going back to the Governor General saying, did I say the 21st? The paperwork was wrong. Could we just bring it forward a few days? Because they would, what looked like the idea of a long campaign was something that the government thought they needed to run him down. They didn't quite think, I think, that they were going to have time marks all over him by Tuesday.
Well,
anyway, so you were talking about Climate 200.
Well, yeah, but you're right about, perhaps they want the election a bit earlier now because the bookmakers have got a heap of money on the Liberals suddenly. Their odds have shortened just in 24 hours. But yeah, I was asking you about the Climate 200 independents. They're having a real impact in a number of affluent inner city and Bayside seats. Of course, these so-called independents are only targeting seats held by Liberals. I just want to go through 3 of those seats and get your analysis on how you think they're going. Let's start with Kooyong, where Josh Frydenberg is the current member. Does he have anything to worry about?
Yes. he does. I don't know if you've been there lately, but if you drive around the seat, certainly the bit, surprise, it's closer to the city, the more inner city end of the seat, there are enormous numbers of real estate boards on people's houses pushing Monique Ryan. There are corflutes. There's a lot of Josh material, but when you look at it, a lot of it's paid space that he's bought. There are far more billboards and real estate boards that people are prepared to have on their properties. That personal endorsement that you get when someone puts something on their own house, than there are for Josh. I think it's going to be close. He knows it's going to be close. He's not under any illusions that he's going to have there's going to be a cakewalk. I mean, last time that the people who were trying to knock him off picked just about the worst candidate, a sort of out of touch, old, fairly effete, arrogant barrister who ran under the Greens banner.
Excuse me, QC.
I remember
QC.
at the time.
Don't undersell him.
Yeah, sorry, QC. He was indeed a QC, still is a QC. Who this time they've got. I mean, I remember at the time everyone was saying, "Oh my God, imagine if they ran a nice, nice female doctor. It'd be a very different story." Well, obviously they worked out that that was the sort of candidate they needed in a seat like that. They couldn't. She's the on paper, his worst nightmare. I mean, I think he'll get through because people think because he's personally popular. But let's not muck around. He's got the fight. He's in the fight of his life. I think the other seat that is in dire straits, or I think worse than Kooyong, is Wentworth. Everyone I talk to thinks that Dave Sharma has a problem. I don't think Tim Wilson in Goldstein is going to lose. Those two are the two I'd be far more worried about if I were the Liberal Party. Weirdly, I think Katie Allen in Higgins could lose, but I don't think she'll lose to one of these Teal people. I think she might lose to Labor if she loses to anyone. But again, I'd put her in the sort of Tim Wilson category of not likely. I mean, there's an off chance if things go badly they could lose, but I don't think they will. I'm far more worried about Josh and Dave Sharma if I were the Liberals.